Nagy, first-year head coach for Chicago. The Bears won the toss. They deferred. Seattle will receive. And that means Tyler Lockett is back deep to return. Last time Seattle played here in Chicago, he returned a second-half kickoff, 105 yards for a touchdown. Cody Parkey will get the night started. What do you say we play some ball here in Chicago? As Lockett will let it sail over his head. And that means we get to say hello to Russell Wilson.
Good thing is it was game one. You either win or lose it. You can't play out there scared. You got to go for it. We were making plays, even not being our best. We're up for the challenge. This is never going to be easy.
Let's be great. Let's be great. Let's be great. Let's go.
That was Wilson on the loss last week at Denver when he was sacked 6 times.
Joe, it's hard to find a team that asks its quarterback to do more than what Seattle's asking him.
We'll start with Chris Carson, who has a good run up ahead into the middle of that Bears defense for 8 yards.
Here we go. Let's go. Let's go.
What Russell did last year, he created all their playmaking. We know about his ability to scramble, all script plays. But, Joe, 37 out of 38 touchdowns, he created with his arm or his leg. So he knows what his defense, he knows who's injured. He doesn't have a lockdown defense anymore. He has to create.
See that quote from Wilson saying, I know it's year 7, but the time is now. Straight ahead and moving the chains is Carson. Last week he had 51 yards on just 7 carries out of Seattle's 55 plays.
Yeah, they only ran the football 16 times last week. Something tells me, guys, there's going to be an emphasis on the running game. Russell Wilson can't do it by himself. Use Carson to run the football and take the load off your quarterback.
You know what? Last year they had 5 different running backs who started. They're looking for that consistency.
Absolutely. They want consistency from him in the quick passing game, too.
Here's Carson again. As we take a closer look at Seattle's offense, the offensive line has the right guard DJ Fluker out, so Sweezy gets the start. And then a rejuvenated and healthy Brandon Marshall among the receivers, Whit.
Yeah, Brandon Marshall, Tyler Lockett, we know these guys are going to have to step up because Doug Baldwin's out. He's been Russell Wilson's playmaking type guy. Those guys are going to have to fill in. Brandon Marshall using his body and creating separation.
Saw Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator, as he calls for the pass, and Penny couldn't corral it. The rookie, the first-round draft pick out of San Diego State.
Something to pay attention to early. I realized that was a quick pass, but Seattle actually had one-on-one with Khalil Mack. Jermaine Ifedi didn't have a great day last week against Von Miller. How will he fare tonight? It's 3rd down. Let's watch Ifedi and Mack on this big down.
Out the gate, he had Von Miller and now Khalil Mack. Good luck, big fella.
3rd down and 8. Gets it out quickly to the near side and for a first down as he's able to find Jaron Brown for 10 yards.
Those are the throws Russell Wilson needs to make more of. Inside the pocket, getting firm on his back foot and delivering strikes on the outside. We don't see enough of it. We know about the play action. We know about getting outside the pocket. He has to do it some. Keep him upright inside the pockets where he needs to make those plays.
Play action. As he's able to find the rookie tight end, Will Dissly, who had a huge NFL debut last week led Seattle with 105 receiving yards.
And this is what he does, though. The play action now comes off of it. We just talked about drop back pass. He fakes the wide zone, comes out on the back end, and he's so comfortable getting outside the pocket. Easy throw and catch for him.
You like this Dissly kid because he's a former defensive end.
I love
Sounds
the guy.
familiar to you.
It's incredible what he did. We're number 98, too, but he had a heck of a game, man. That's an incredible start for his rookie NFL debut, getting 105 yards receiving last week.
2nd and 3. As they will go with Penny. And they'll make for 3rd and about 2. That Chicago defense is really stout up front. Big Akeem Hicks goes 6'5", 332 pounds. He's a monster. You know all about Khalil Mack. He's been the headline maker the last couple of weeks. But Roquan Smith, first-round pick, gets the start tonight. 8th overall in the draft. And then Amukamara and Fuller, the starting corners. Fuller had a chance to close out last week's game at Green Bay and dropped a should-have-been interception. 3rd down and 2.
They're going to go empty, try to throw quick slants underneath, potentially, with Russ's playmaking ability.
Pressure off the edge from the safety. Wilson trying to step up and reach for it. Ball came out there. They are saying he was down as he lunged forward, and it'll be 4th down as Danny Trevathan was quick to jump on that ball. Aaron Lynch was pressuring Russell Wilson.
You're going to see him come in there. He's trying to get inside the pocket and extend it for the 1st down. Love his playmaking ability. He's down right there. But when it's not open on the outside, he wants to step up inside. They're creating lanes. Chicago, much like Denver did, they adjust that rush. They loop back in behind with those defensive ends. They don't want to give him that lane in the B gap and the A gap.
There's the
inside.
rookie, Michael Dixon, punting away. And he pins it inside the 5 as Tariq Cohen calls for the fair catch there. Great work from Michael Dixon. Pete Carroll's team now no opening drive touchdown in their last 31 games. Mitchell Trubisky is going to be taking this ball at the 4-yard line to start the night. Let me tell you what they're saying about Trubisky here in Chicago. His grace period with fans inevitably expires. At some point, likely Monday night against Seattle, the execution must match the innovation. And those in such a race to be right risk being terribly wrong. 2nd overall pick in the 2017 NFL draft. Whit?
You know, Joe, I'm a buyer in this stock. I'm a believer in this young player. I know the noise is loud. It's hot in the kitchen here in Chicago on him because he's still young. And Matt Nagy comes in and says, we're going to give you the keys to this offense. He played well in that game. Sure, he missed some throws. He'd like to have some plays back. But if you watch it, he's a better athlete than you think. And this circus offense, I mean, Matt Nagy likes his playmaking ability. He just needs to calm down, not put too much pressure on himself, and allow his playmakers the ball in space.
And Whit, remember how well he played on the opening drive against Green Bay.
The scripted play, that's what Matt Nagy does so well.
We're ready! We're done!
Jordan Howard, who's lined up in the end zone as a flag is down as he made his way out past the 8-yard line.
Offside, number 99, defense, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Walt Coleman, our referee, famous for the tuck rule game back in 2001. Well, there's Trubisky. Matt Nagy, the head coach, said of him, I have to pull back what I am as a play caller. Wants to make sure he can handle everything, loves meeting with Mitchell and saying, what do you like, what don't you like, let's manage things.
Well, it's an adjustment period for Matt Nagy, too. I mean, he was with Alex Smith, had all that success in Kansas City. They're just figuring each other out right now.
1st and 5. Here's the short pitch to Cohen. And the little guy pushed back after a gain of just 2, and another flag is down as Brad McDougald made the tackle on Tariq Cohen.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, number 26, defense. 15 yards from the end of the play, 1st down.
That gets the Bears out of that hole, bad field position. Let's look at the group up front for Chicago. I got a kick out of what you showing us Charles Leno Jr. last week against Green Bay, flanked out wide as a receiver. When it comes to receivers on this team, Allen Robinson, signed by the Bears, back from the torn ACL.
Yeah, he brings a lot to this offense, Allen Robinson does. He has a veteran presence. They move him around. He's just a solid player. And that's what Trubisky said. He goes, I'm getting comfortable with these receivers, how they like to do things. You know, being a system quarterback is underrated. He fits Matt Nagy's system. Ryan Pace knew that. That's why he hired Nagy, to give this guy a chance.
Here's Trubisky as he threw it high, looking for Jordan Howard.
Those are the throws, though, Joe. He cannot miss. He can't do that. It's wide open in the flat. He's got to hit him. For a young quarterback, his feet need to be settled, and you got to put it. That's got to be throw and catch, especially against this Seattle defense. We know about Pete's defense for a long time, Pete Carroll. Simplified, they line up in single high, and they fly around. They're going to make you drive the field on them.
We're ready! We're done!
2nd and 10. Trubisky over the middle and able to get it complete as he was able to drive the ball to Allen Robinson for 6 yards.
You know, and as we watch Mr. Trubisky right now early in the game, let's remember, last week against the Packers, he did well. The scripted plays, the first 15. I'm pretty sure they have those same plays scripted tonight. So he looks calm, he looks cool, he looks collected right now. Something to pay attention to if you're at home. Watch Mitch Trubisky's feet. When his feet are settled, he's calm, he's throwing the ball accurately. When his feet are all over the place, the ball is all over the place.
We're ready! We're done!
3rd and 4. Trubisky on the slant, gets it complete to Allen Robinson for a first down.
Really good route by Allen Robinson. He understands an awareness. I talked about moving him around. He's in the slot. He's got a good matchup on Coleman. He just widens him and finds the area. Those are the throws Mitch needs to make. See it and deliver it. Strike inside. Put it on him, because guess what? Earl Thomas is coming down.
And he's got a good matchup tonight, Whit, because the cornerbacks of Seattle are not what they used to be. You no longer have Browner and Sherman. Chicago has a pretty good matchup against these corners tonight.
This is Howard up the middle. Good start to the game for Allen Robinson. You know, before starring for Penn State, he grew up in Detroit. And boy, oh boy, was he styling as a little one. Let's take you back to Easter Sunday. This was the new suit from Grandma and Grandpa book back in the day. I want to thank Mom, Tracy, his father, Alan, his sister, Ashley, for giving us that great photo of Easter Sunday yesteryear with Allen Robinson book.
Joe, we call that casket sharp where I'm from. He is casket sharp.
In his Sunday best, literally.
2nd and 7. Trubisky, as he's just able to swing it to Anthony Miller. And he was down there. Ball did not come out. That was a classic look by Allen Robinson.
You know, something to look at in this Matt Nagy offense. When Tariq Cohen is in the ball game, you're going to get a lot of empty. You're going to get a lot of the college offense. So think Saturdays in college football. Your jet sweeps, your trips, your empty. Getting the ball out of Trubisky's hand quick. When 24 Howard is in the game, he's a better pass protector. He's going to be blocking in the backfield and more inside zone running game. Something to pay attention to based on personnel in the game.
And Cohen, he's the X factor for this offense, much like Tyreek Hill in Kansas City was. The X factor the entire night.
3rd down and 6.
We're ready! We're done!
Pressure off the edge on Trubisky as he steps up. Going to try to run for it, and he'll get it and more. Look at the athleticism from Mitchell Trubisky.
What a scramble by him. This is one of the reasons why I'm such a believer in him and why I'm buying that stock. Yeah, he's not going to make all the throws, but his ability to create, much like Russell Wilson and Alex Smith, he's not looking to do it, but if he needs to, he will. The Seattle defense is athletic. He made him look a little silly there. Getting first downs on 3rd down, converting those.
17 yards on 3rd and 6. Now the pass with time. And another completion for 9 yards. Taylor Gabriel, who was targeted 5 times last week.
That's what you want to see from him in the pocket. Those are the throws. Big strikes on 1st down. Nagy feels comfortable with him. He can throw it on 1st. It's not just like I got to control him in this system and manage him. He's cutting him loose, guys.
2nd and 1, good-looking opening drive, much like last week up at Lambeau. Nearly picked off, but instead it's Jordan Howard. That was Michael Kendricks making a play on it, but Howard going for 17 more yards for Chicago.
That was a thing of beauty right there. Unbelievable. Mitch Trubisky went laser. He changed the protection, slid the line, and threw it right over Green's hands. And Howard, the bigger back, making a nice catch, going down the sideline. Nice play there. And look at Kendricks, the newly signed linebacker, just a step slow. just a step slow to the ball, but nice check there by Mr. Trubisky, sliding the line left, and he took care of the free rusher coming off his right side.
Look, I don't know if he's a step slow. It went right between his hands. He was right there. He's got to make that play.
10th play of the drive, 1st and goal. Trubisky to the end zone. Penalty flag is down as he was looking for Allen Robinson.
Prior to the pass, holding number 36 defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's Akeem King who starts tonight with Trey Flowers out injured.
Yeah, but what sets this up is the play action. He's going to pull him, and then now Robinson just gets enough fake there. A little bit both ways. I mean, Robinson's got to avoid a little bit better, but King just cannot grab. Once your arms go outside and you get that little bear hug going, that yellow handkerchief's coming every time.
3rd penalty on Seattle's defense on this drive, as Cohen shifts back in with 1st and goal from the 3.
Robinson likes these posts on the backside there, son.
Pitch forward, touchdown, shovel pass, Trey Burton.
You're going to see Burton come down the line right here. And it's just a zone read. And see the defensive end plays upfield? He's got a pitch there. That's the power of Matt Nagy. He's going to give him multiple looks. He can zone read it, give it to the back, and he's just reading that defensive end. He wants the chalk last. And you see why right there for the big touchdown.
And a penalty flag that rains down on the PAT.
False start, number 55, offense, 5-yard penalty.
That's the college runs, though, that they bring, Joe, that we talk about.
Yes.
Bringing that to this system of reading those defensive ends. It could have been a handoff, but they just add that extra element. He's an outside-the-box thinker, Matt Nagy is. That's what he brings.
As Parkey will line it up again. Just pushed back after the penalty. You know, the Bears, 2nd straight week with an opening drive touchdown. They only had one all of last season. 7-0 Chicago. 7-0 Chicago. Joe Whitbook and Lisa with you here at Soldier Field. Mitchell Trubisky on that opening drive, 6 of 7 passing, 50 yards, the touchdown, and the 17-yard run. Trey Burton expected to be a big part of the offensive success here as Russell Wilson awaits his turn, and Tyler Lockett looks to put him in good field position if he gets a chance from Cody Parkey. And we remind you who's wearing the Monday Night Mike tonight, Khalil Mack.
Let's get it, baby.
Get that back. Go get back. Go get back.
Come on, man.
Go get back now. Hey, way to come down. Way to come down. Way to come down. You good.
Had a great visit with Mac yesterday with us. Said the thing for him is the brotherhood of this team. Here's Wilson to the outside, and diving ahead was Brandon Marshall, the big-bodied veteran at 6'5", 232 pounds.
Joe, I'll tell you, though, Khalil Mack, that first 30 minutes last week in Chicago, this guy looked like the second coming of Dick Butkus, Mike Singletary, Brian Urlacher, whatever other great Chicago defenders. He was incredible through that first half.
And Raiders head coach John Gruden was quoted again today as saying no regrets about the trade. 2 first-round picks went to Oakland. And one of the best players of a generation is lined up here in Chicago. First down after reception by Marshall. Stacked up for a moment was Chris Carson before he wiggled free for 4 yards. You know, Chris Carson, Russell said, hey, I want to get him more involved early. He really helps us stay on schedule. Last year he was playing so well before missing the last 12 games with leg injuries.
Yeah, they really like him. He came in there as a 7th-round pick last year, had over 250 yards in those first 4 games. They're trying to get him east and west, and the reason is because Akeem Hicks is so big inside that you have to get him on the perimeter. But he's a good back, good awareness, setting up those blocks.
Yeah, tough to run against Hicks. Ball batted and then falls harmlessly to midfield as he was trying to connect with Brandon Marshall. Interesting story with Brandon Marshall. You consider his career now 16th on the NFL's all-time reception list. Spent 3 seasons, of course, here in Chicago. And this is the first time since being traded in 2015 that he's playing against his former team here.
You know, Brian Schottenheimer told us this week, he says, I was so impressed with Brandon Marshall's football IQ, how he gets open and works at it. But he is an older receiver now. He's got to try to get separation, make those tough catches.
He wants to prove what he said to us, I'm more than just a big body. 3rd down and 6. Wilson downfield looking for his rookie tight end who was in traffic as he was covered by Kyle Fuller. Big Will Dissly downfield.
And you're going to see these guys, though. It's 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. When they go here, you're going to watch Brandon Marshall's going to go, and at the top of it, they're going to both be at the same spot. And when that's happening right there, they cannot get open when you're sitting in the same area. Defenders just pass it off. It's like 2 skinny post routes. You cannot do that. You got to have separation on those routes.
Here's Cohen from inside the 10 as he catches a seam on the sideline. Great return by Tariq Cohen. Dixon booted it 54 yards, but Cohen returns it 33. Uncle Mo with Chicago. Momentum Bears. There's Matt Nagy, who comes from the Andy Reid coaching tree. Actually, he comes from Mannheim Central High School back in Pennsylvania. Lunch pail kind of guy. And he'll let you know the way he goes about his business.
He's got a full-fledged undergrad, master's, PhD from Andy Reid. He learned from one of the best in Kansas City and Philadelphia.
Great field position after the turn by Cohen. Trubisky overthrew the intended target, the 5'8" Taylor Gabriel. Well, we showed you Nagy. He loves all the different formations and personnel.
What he does so good is his personnels and his formations. There he's in 2 tight end set, both in one of the traditional tight end and a wing. Then he comes back in a bunch set with 2 tight ends and the running back. Different ways to run it. And then, of course, getting both tailbacks. The Pony Express, they call it up here in Chicago. Getting them both on the field at the same time. Using the personnel groups and then formatting these guys. They line up all over the field. It gives defenses fits.
A lot of window dressing with, a lot of window dressing to confuse the defense.
Some of it just came right there with the motion from Cohen. 2nd and 10, gets it out quickly, gets it complete. Allen Robinson. 9 yards from Robinson. Hey, Boog, I heard you laughing when we showed you that Easter Sunday suit of Allen Robinson's that Mom and Dad sent in. But let me tell you something. We found a little something of yours, too. That was Robinson on Easter Sunday morning back in the day. But Whit, have you ever seen Boog back in the day?
My goodness, Boog, what is that?
Hey, here's what I want you to think. Think 2003 ESPYs in Los Angeles. I was trying to make a statement. I think I did.
Yeah, let me tell you, that statement has lasted here till fall 2018, brother.
You need to rip that thing up, Boog.
Lose that photo. They run option here on 3rd and 1. Howard looks to be right at that line to make, depending on this spot. And perhaps just a little short as Shaquille Griffin, the 2nd-year corner out of UCF of the Griffin twins, made the tackle.
And that was just an old school read option where there's no dive part of it. He's just going to keep it or he can run it. And Mingo does a good job of finding and make that tackle. I think he got it.
That is close. As of now, they have marked him short in 4th and about a half a yard, but watch this replay.
It's close. He looks to have it to me.
Well, his back end hit, then he reached out a little more. But on first glance, and just playing in real time, it was assumed that he had it as they pull the chains, and you'll see that he is short.
Going back to Nagy, though, I mean, that was a speed option. We saw him in the red zone. He runs a shovel pass on the goal line. But what's hurting him right now is Trubisky's got to hit these play actions. He needs to be more accurate in those situations. Put together a good drive. Everybody's tickled pink with the way he's going. But those plays, he's got to capitalize on those big strikes in the play action game.
And that's what's frustrating the people in Chicago. Matt Nagy can be creative. He can design a great play. But Trubisky still has to drop back in rhythm and hit that throw. That would have been a big gain down the seam to the tight end. He just couldn't hit it.
And he's aggressive. You see him here going for it on 4th and 1, much like the guy he learned from, Doug Peterson, out in Philadelphia. Aggressive mindset.
4th down and 1, just short of midfield. Why not? Howard, first down, Bears. As they scramble for the ball at the end there, but it is a first down as he was down. Jordan Howard.
The runner was down by contact. First down.
His 3rd year. The only Bear with back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons to open his career. Finished 3rd in the NFC last year. Had 1,122 rushing yards.
Fits the system well because he's a downhill runner. That's what he is. It's the dirty runs. You know about the sexy stuff on the outside with Cohen and the playmakers, but he's the guy that can get it 4 or 5 every time you hand it to him.
Cohen now to the near side as he tries to dart his way for just a gain of 1. Let's look at that Seattle defense. They are really banged up. Shamar Stephen is going to get the start at defensive tackle. Of course, Jaron Reed, the big guy out of Alabama, but the linebackers is where the issue lies. Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright out. Michael Kendricks just signed and in there. And then the defensive backfield, Trey Flowers, who was the starting corner, is out. So Akeem King gets the start. Of course, the reliable Earl Thomas in the middle.
And they gave up 470 yards of offense last week in Denver. That's something you don't see in the Pete Carroll defense.
Not at all. Foundation of their recent success built on this defense. Here's a quick motion from Gabriel with the handoff to the near side as he goes for 5 yards, and it'll be 3rd and short.
Gabriel just has such good speed and gets him back on track. That's what they try to do there, is get him on the perimeter and get him back now in the 3rd and manageable.
Good looking home debut for Matt Nagy as Pete Carroll's defense on their heels a bit in that first quarter. 7-0 Bears on Monday Night Football. Next Monday, we're going to be in Tampa. Can Pittsburgh bounce back? We're taking on Mike Evans and the 2-0 Buccaneers at 8:15 Eastern. Of course, coverage begins with Susie and again with Monday Night Countdown at 6. How about the Bucs? 2-0 for the first time since 2010. And Ryan Fitzmagic going for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Eagles. Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters here with Monday Night Football in Chicago. Start of the second quarter, 3rd and 3, Bears with a touchdown lead. Trubisky's going to run it himself. Trying to get to the outside was not the right choice as Brad McDougald was waiting on him. A loss of 2.
Just a bad read. He had it inside there. He just took it and got inside. He could get the first down potentially. But Matt Nagy ran that play because he thought maybe it's 4-down territory. Good read, keeping it, just get north and south. Fall forward and get the first down. Awareness. Sometimes these athletes think they can just create and run around. It's different than college. You got to take those yards because they're closing quickly. That's a big miss there because Matt Nagy was considering going for it on 4th down if he just got close.
Here's Pat O'Donnell on to punt. Reverse rotation trying to pin Tyler Lockett as he secures it at about the 14. Bears up 7-0 early on here at home. Beautiful late summer night in Chicago for Monday Night Football. Bears with a 7-0 lead. Russell Wilson has had a lot of success through the years on Monday Night Football. 6-1 mark. He's thrown 14 touchdown passes against only 1 interception on Monday night games. Here's Carson out of the I formation. Tough to go against Hicks and Goldman as he's able to get 3 there.
And they've heard it all week about he only had 6 rush attempts. last week in the first half. They want to get that running game established, but at some point you got to play to the strengths of this offense, and that's Russell Wilson. His playmaking ability, you just mentioned some of those stats that he had. He creates inside the pocket play actions and then getting him outside the pocket. Brian Schottenheimer told us it's like 70-30. We want to keep his playmaking ability, but we have to manage it because he can't get off script too often too early.
Schottenheimer, who you saw there, was the coordinator for the Jets, the Rams, University of Georgia, and connecting with Wilson early on here in their relationship. Here's Wilson on 2nd and 6. Extending the play. Flag comes down there, as we'll likely have a holding call. It was Aaron Lynch who was pursuing Russell.
Holding, number 64, offense, half the distance to the goal. 2nd down.
You mentioned wanting to lean on that running game. Last year, the Seahawks running backs averaged an NFL worst 3.25 yards per rush.
One of the things that difficult, and this offensive line has not played well. I mean, some say they've improved a little bit, but they haven't played very well at all for a number of years now, for the last couple years. The biggest thing there is that he thinks that ball's coming out. Sweezy, the right guard. It's a quick play action, and then when Russell extends those plays, it puts those guys in vulnerable positions up front.
And without the running game to rely on, you get in lopsided down and distance situations. You get the penalty, and now you're sitting on a 2nd and 15. Told you Walt Coleman heads up.
Please reset the clock to 13:25. 13:25.
We talked about that offensive line. One of the things they tried to shore it up was signing Dwayne Brown, trading for him. He's a big left tackle. He can protect that blind side. We want to get the running game going, getting those guys, but Brian Schottenheimer told us, he's like, look, we got to find these quick strikes to take some of the pressure off of them going against these big-time rushes they've gone through the first 2 weeks of the season.
Brown came over in a midseason trade last year with the Texans. 2nd and 15. Wilson from his own goal line in trouble there. Eddie Goldman crashing right in the middle along with Khalil Mack.
And this is part of the issue with Russell Wilson. Down on your goal line, holding the football just a little bit too long. Yeah, your offensive line has been a little suspect, but you're going to have to get rid of the football. You can't hold it this long. You have to have a clock in your head if you're the quarterback. Right now, that ball has got to come out. Khalil Mack coming around the corner, just the pressure. They have a tight end. The tight end couldn't get him. Look at the power, pushing the Fetty back into the quarterback. Tremendous play by the entire Chicago Bear defensive line.
3rd and 22, and you're halfway in the end zone. And just a little bit of breathing room gain to Brandon Marshall. And now Chicago is going to be set up to potentially have great field position here. Michael Dixon is the rookie punter from Texas, the Australian native who can boom the ball. He'll need to flip the field here as Tariq Cohen is at the 34. Directional kick to the left, and it goes out with no return. Welcome to Chicago, Mr. Mack. Bringing the pressure on Russell Wilson. Khalil Mack off his jaw-dropping performance at Lambeau Field, wearing the Monday Night Mike.
Baby!
Pretty Stokes combining with Eddie Goldman there to get to Russell Wilson. By the way, Goldman's first sack of the season. He had 1.5 all of last year. Big 6'4", 320-pound nose tackle.
You know, Chicago's really outplayed Seattle here, but they only got 7 points to show for it. Now they got some good field position.
Empty set for Trubisky. With time, downfield, wants Robinson. Instead, it is intercepted by Shaquille Griffin.
The thing about Pete Carroll's defense, is he coaches up these defensive backs. That's why he has confidence in this group. They're young. You're going to see it. Trubisky sees the matchup on the outside. It's one-on-one. He just leaves it short. And watch Shaquille do it in understanding. Shaquille's ability to adjust when the ball's in the air. Get your eyes back on the throw while you're running. Good athletic movement. That's what these guys are trained to do. They needed something like this. They needed turnovers. They needed this defensive back to step up, change the field position, change momentum, and now give it back to Russ.
The older of the Griffin twins by 1 minute. As Trubisky talks things over, takes a look at the tablet.
Disappointed in that throw. Not leave it short.
To show jet motion, they give it to Carson, and Carson with a second effort gets it out to the 27.
Guys, one of the things we've been talking about all night is watching Mitch Trubisky's feet. When his feet are settled, he makes accurate throws on time. When his feet are popping all over the place, the throw is a little bit inaccurate. He underthrew this ball that Griffin picked. Feet weren't settled, underthrow. He's got to work on his footwork to make sure he can be accurate.
So great to see Shaquem and Shaquille. Of course, Shaquem Griffin, the inspirational story of the first one-handed player drafted into the NFL. 2nd and 7 now for Seattle. Play action as he throws it to Nick Van Nat.
Good
Covered
play
by
by
Leonard Floyd.
Nice job by Floyd. He's here to be a pass rusher. Sometimes they want to keep that perimeter because they don't want to allow Russell to get completely outside. Good job by Floyd, not allowing him to get in. He's got the broken hand, too.
Yeah, he's wearing a wrapped cast club on that fractured right hand. Interestingly, same thing happened to him at Georgia, wore a cleft cast as a freshman there in his left hand. So he's conditioned to that in his career. 3rd down and 7. And listen to the roar of Soldier Field. Pressure up the middle. Wilson gets it out, but incomplete as too far to the outside for Brandon Marshall as he was covered by Prince Amukamara.
One of the things that Russell Wilson wants to do is he's taking advantage. They're playing off coverage. You see the corner there. Brandon Marshall's got to be good at the top of the route. They're knowing that they play in the sticks. Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, he talks about play the sticks. Just no separation by Marshall at the top of that route. That's exactly where that ball's supposed to go versus that coverage. Just no separation.
2nd straight 3 and out.
And off the turnover, that hurts off that turnover.
Cohen from the 17. Shake and bake, and then a cut to the outside. He is shifty, isn't he?
Yes, sir, he is.
He's back out there after the pick when we return. Million Little Things is a new drama about friends who bond under unexpected circumstances. A story of hope, loss, and the family we choose. A Million Little Things premieres Wednesday, September 26th on ABC.
Trubisky, the last 2 plays he's had, he had the bad read on the keeper and then the interception. How does he respond?
Started 6 of 7, since then 1 of 3. Jordan Howard. Good effort play at the end as a flag comes down as he bowled his way past the 40 over Michael Kendricks.
Illegal block in the back, number 17, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Last week in Green Bay, down the end there, they want to score. He runs the play action. He's got him wide open. This clip went viral, Joe. He's wide open. Now, Matt Nagy said he was 4th in the read, but my point to you, Joe, is sometimes you just got to play ball. You got to throw it where you see it's open. And when you see it, you can't think, oh, it's the 4th read. The ball's not supposed to go there. Sometimes when you play that position, you're pick number 2 overall, and you're the franchise quarterback. Playmakers make plays. He had it right there. He just was trained to go somewhere else with it. He's got to improvise in that situation. Find the open guy.
1st and 15 as he muscles the ball to Taylor Gabriel. Matt Nagy, his home debut as Bears head coach, the 40-year-old, 3rd youngest head coach in the NFL. Sean McVay with the Rams is 32. Kyle Shanahan with San Francisco's 38.
Cohen's in the game. Pay attention to the college-style offense here.
Let's look for it, Boog. Ball was batted down out of the hands of Allen Robinson.
You know, now they're off script, on Matt Nagy's script, so they're just having to play ball, up-tempo. There's a lot of things that Trubisky can do. And going back to that viral clip, you know, sometimes I'm not a big believer, Joe, in freezing frames in football. You play long enough, and I can tell you there's a lot of moments where you're like, I don't know. You know, it's easy to say I should have blocked that guy longer, or I should have ran that route a little bit deeper. But in real time, it's hard. So a lot of times on those viral plays like that, you don't know. You don't know how it's going to do. All I'm saying is, in those situations, to be able to adjust and make plays at critical times, knowing that Aaron Rodgers is on the other side of the field.
That was Robinson there.
Forward progress was ruled. Forward progress was ruled.
Had the forward progress for the first down for Chicago. Yeah, it goes viral because everybody's saying, see if you can find the open guy. Easier tweeted than done. Let's see. You make the call here. Is he down?
I don't think he is. He's on his leg a little bit.
Let's bring in our rules expert, 22-year veteran on the field as an official, Jeff Triplett. We'll get to Jeff in a moment here. Bottom line is they're going to snap. Play action, batted, and intercepted again by Shaquille Griffin. Shaquille Griffin with 2 interceptions here in this second quarter.
And just look at the effort. The ball is tipped. Look how he lays out, just giving up his body to get the interception. Just tremendous effort there by Griffin on the tip ball. Does he get his hands under it?
One of the challenges, though, on this play is the play action is for the linebackers. Michael Kendricks steps up, comes back, and then he and McDougal both get their hands on it. They saw that last week. They got hurt on it against Denver, was the play action. They told those linebackers, slow to you know, meaning don't run up there for the run. Play back. We can't have those holes in this defense. And they've adjusted, getting their hands up, identifying the play action, and the tip ball.
So forget about was it a fumble or not. Shaquille Griffin says, I'll just get it myself. Wilson pressured and brought down eventually here as it was Eddie Jackson.
You know, Joe, this is the thing they want to do. Seattle wants to get Russell Wilson outside the pocket, but Khalil Mack's unblocked off the edge. He comes down. Nobody's accounting for him. They're running the bootleg to him. I don't know a lot, Boog, but I'm telling you what, man, that guy, you need to have 1, maybe 2 on him at all times. And I get they run these bootlegs. They want to get outside on the perimeter, but those guys like Khalil Mack, you got to know where they're at.
There's an old rule in football, Whit. If nobody's blocking you, something's up. Mack knew no one was blocking him, so he got upfield waiting on the boot. Just great instincts.
And with Mack out there, only 19 total yards for Seattle. And nothing doing there. They're averaging only 2.9 yards per play are the Seahawks against Khalil Mack and this defense.
Just a great play there by Khalil Mack. Coming off the edge, he plays his outside leverage and gets back inside. He says, I'll take care of the outside. But you know what? You're going to run the ball at me. I'll come around, dive, and make the tackle. Those are the defensive player of the year type plays that this young man makes.
After all this, so Seattle's only down 7. This could be 4-down territory. You don't have to get all of it back here.
Third down and 12. As the flag comes in, there was motion.
False start, number 65, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's Jermaine Ifedi, who last week was terrorized by Denver's Von Miller. And look who he's up against this week.
I'd be scared too.
You know, you always want to get off the ball on the road, playing those guys. That's the thing. Not only is he going against the 2 of the best pass rushers, both of them are on the road. Antsy is an understatement in that situation.
If you're Seattle here, keep it safe, screen pass, draw, don't put your quarterback in danger.
Third and 17. Mack strips it. He is unbelievable. Khalil Mack strips it down. Seattle recovers But if there's a quarterback with the ball, he's got to find him this year.
And look at this guy come off the edge, man. This place is electric. You wanted this guy? They chip with the tight end, but it doesn't help because all that does, it allows Mack to get a run and go. You see if Eddie's trying to do it. You got to really hit him as a tight end, not just punch him on your way out. I mean, you want to hit him, and then Russell, he has nowhere to go because the inside pressure is right in his face. Mack just has a knack for the football.
Russell has to get rid of that football, though, Whit. Great play by Mack, but Russell has to get rid of the ball. Cannot hold it that long.
Bad snap and a bad punt by Dixon. The Chicago defense with Mack is roaring. 4 sacks in this first half.
11, come on, we got you. We got your back. Let's go, baby.
That is Khalil Mack, who we are thrilled that he's wearing the Monday Night Mike tonight. And Bears fans are thrilled that he's lining up for them. He's got 17 snaps, he's got a strip sack, 3 tackles, and he forced the issue inside for others to get to Russell Wilson because Chicago has 4 sacks in this first half. And now great field position after just a 10-yard punt. Tariq Cohen finding his way just beyond midfield for 2 yards.
That's why they call him the Mack attack. For that reason right there, he's just a game changer. And now, if you're Chicago, we know about the 2 turnovers. This is Matt Nagy. Just calm down. All right, I would always want my coach to just regroup. We got good field position, no harm, no foul. Let's take advantage of where the ball is at midfield.
Let's base. Let's go Florida.
Sunday.
2nd and 8. As Trubisky spins back and then will float it downfield to Cohen. How about that? 17 yards off the ad-lib. Trubisky to Cohen.
You know what, Joe? You want to play this position, you got to handle adversity. 2 picks. You're in a situation here, nobody's open. You scramble, doesn't look good, 2 guys coming. To have the confidence to make those throws as a young quarterback, I love it. This is why I'm on this guy. This is why I believe that he can make plays. To put the touch on that ball, a lot of guys would have just thrown it away. Not him.
Jordan Howard now taken down in the backfield by Austin Calitro, who gets the start tonight. Young man from Danbury, Connecticut. I think Mitch Trubisky on that last play may have just out Russell Wilson. That's the kind of stuff that Russ is used to doing. Spin around, float back, throw it downfield, find a guy.
He's always looking downfield, Russell Wilson does. And that's what Trubisky, he said he was a big fan of Russell's game. Showed there.
Second and 13. To an open Allen Robinson. He has been targeted plenty tonight.
And that's what you want to see from Trubisky. You know, I know about his athleticism and this offense, but at certain times, you got to play football from the pocket. Gets on his back foot, opens up that left leg, and delivers a strike on the sideline. That on-time throws, it just takes the pressure. Not every quarterback can do that. There's a lot of athletes and all those stuff, and Nagy said he's going to be aggressive with the calls, but being able to do that inside the pocket, it's a big step for him.
That's kind of what we've seen tonight. We've seen
a timeout called by Chicago. Whit, it's interesting to have the conversation about Mitchell Trubisky and where you place him with his draft class, because that 2017 group, remember, he was the 2nd overall pick. He only had 13 starts at North Carolina. Tonight is his 14th NFL start. The first of 3 quarterbacks taken in that first round in 2017. Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. You talk about early returns. Mahomes right now through 2 weeks is the story in the NFL. Watson, you know what he was last year before the injury and already back for Houston. But Mahomes in 3 starts has 10 touchdowns now.
Not a bad way to start your career, huh? Get out there in year 2, go get in. And really, for Mahomes, they loved him last year. They talked about he learned from Alex Smith and was ready for this. His arm is so strong, but they're still high on him here in Chicago, Trubisky. They think that he has all those tools to have that type of success.
Saw it last week in the first half at Lambeau, and you've seen flashes of it tonight, including what he just pulled off to put them in position. But can he convert a 3rd and 5? Robinson trying to get there, and that extra effort will move the chains.
Robinson was dancing around there. It's a good thing he got it, but you got to have awareness there. Good throw by Trubisky, and even able to have that effort to make that play. Trubisky standing in there taking a hit. Robinson just juking and jiving. Pretty good tackler there, and Earl Thomas, he made miss. Knowing where the sticks are and converting that, that's why you bring in a veteran player like Robinson. Sure, he can stretch the field, but his awareness underneath.
Got 3 third-down catches, all converted into first downs tonight. See, he's been targeted already 9 times by Trubisky.
Hey, fire, son!
Howard getting a little effort for 3 yards.
You know, we talk a lot about Trubisky, and rightfully so, being the former #2 pick. But I think this offense is at its best when Jordan Howard is running the football, the inside zone, creates balance. I know Cohen is the versatile guy that can take it down the field and be a home run hitter. But for me, Jordan Howard is a guy that controls the tempo, gets the offensive line in the game, coming off the football. They need more of that tonight.
We gotta go!
2nd and 7. They go in motion with the tap ahead to Gabriel again, and he will be about a yard short. Coming up on 2.5 minutes remaining here in this first half. A first half that has seen Chicago dominate in total yardage against Seattle's offense that has struggled, but yet just a touchdown lead for now as Deion Jordan comes in on 3rd and 1.
You know, it'd be interesting to see what this call is here, because 3rd and 1 last week, he had a couple of them down there at the end of the game where they decided to be aggressive and throw it. See if what he does here at this situation.
Two-minute warning. Chicago looking for more here on Monday Night Football. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by GMC. Live like a pro. October of 06 on Monday Night Football, Bears trailed the Cardinals by 20 at the half. Brian Urlacher went for 25 tackles and had the 4th quarter strip of Edgerrin James. That was returned for a touchdown, and the Bears pulled out the 24-23 win on Monday Night Football. There is Urlacher. He's going to get his Hall of Fame ring at halftime tonight. Of course, on that night when he had 25 tackles, that was the memorable Dennis Green post-game rant. They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Do they let the Bears offense off the hook here with Trey Burton getting the direct snap and going ahead on 3rd and 1 to move the chains? He of Philly special with a little something special there.
Wow, great effort by Burton to just drag him on that first down. But look at the formation. You don't know what's going to happen. The defenses don't know how to react. You're just trying to slow them down some. Good awareness. Played a little bit of quarterback in college. And he just understands the situation to get there.
That's what we talked about with the creativity. Matt Nagy and his ability to put players in position to be creative. Put Burton at quarterback. Move Cohen out to wide receiver. Move your players around. Keep them engaged in the game, and also keep the defense off balance.
I thought it was fascinating to show that 2017 quarterback draft class. See all the precocious action going on in the league with some of these QBs. And then here's Trubisky. You know what happened last year. He gets the first-year head coach this year. And you look at Mahomes, you know what that Kansas City blueprint is. It's the same that's now being applied here.
Yeah, it's the exact same what they're going to do. It's carry over, same offense, same terminology. And the biggest thing that helps the quarterback is the personnel groupings and formations that you can use pre-snap. Certainly you need a big arm, and that helps. Both of these guys have that.
Well, here they go with 11 personnel, 3 wides, and they give to Howard, who patiently waited behind the left guard, Eric Kush, and goes ahead for 4 yards.
Nagy's going with the up-tempo offense here.
Second down. Trubisky. Look at all the time he has as he sidearms it, looking for Anthony Miller, the fine-looking rookie out of Memphis. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 6. They can get a first down just inside the 1.
You know, one of the things that the Chicago offense does right there, they do this sometimes. It's not just up-tempo. They call 2 plays. So, hey, we're going to run it, hand it off here, and we're going to get backlight on the ball, and we're going to run a quick pass. Just dictating the pace, the cadence. Certainly in the red zone, that's an area. But now they got a big 3rd down call. You got to try to score touchdown here. We saw it last week. Multiple field goals there at the end of in the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter. You want to get 7 if you can because you've dominated this game.
Took over at their own 49. The 11th play coming here. 3rd and 6. Trubisky trying to spin free again. He does, but it's nearly intercepted. Batted down that time by Justin Coleman. That was almost costly.
Trubisky cannot get careless with the ball. Points are the most important thing there. You're going to see him extend out there. He rolls out. Should have been a sack by Frank Clark, but he makes him miss, and then just throw it away. Don't force it. There's 2 guys there. Man, those critical moments, the quarterbacks, you have to think it through. Risk versus reward. There's nothing there. I love his aggressive mindset, but understanding the situation.
So on comes Cody Parkey, who was 3 for 3 last week, and he starts his year perfect. 10-0 Chicago lead. Booger has tonight's PlayStation View multi-view.
Yeah, and we all know it's going to be the guy that's dominated tonight, Khalil Mack. Coming off the corner, they got a tight end chipping him. Doesn't matter. I'll use my power rush against Fetty and get to the quarterback. You want to run a boot at me? Nah, I'm not going to fall for the boot because I'm too smart. You don't block me, I know something is up. And then the ability to just use strictly power, get to the quarterback, and remember, the ball is the most important thing. Go after the ball is just as good as getting the sack. Great play, great effort tonight by Khalil Mack.
Sent to Chicago for the 2 first-round draft picks. 2019 and 2020 are going to the Raiders. And then he signs the 6-year deal worth $141 million, and 90 of it guaranteed. What do you say we listen in to the best of Mack on the Monday Night Mike?
Let's get it, baby. 11, come on, we got you. We got your back. Sound, mic check, mic check.
We are glad to have Khalil on that mic check as he's back out there. I don't know that Russell Wilson is glad to have him back out there with the mic. C.J. Prosise now in at running back for Seattle. Wilson gets it complete. Good-looking ball as Marshall stepped out of bounds. Was carrying Amukamara for a bit of a ride there. And that is the Seahawks' first down since 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. It has been a dismal first half offensively for Seattle.
That was a big-time throw by Russell Wilson. Mack was in his face, throws his guy open, gives him a chance.
Another sack. That is 5 for the Bears defense. Danny Trevathan this time.
Trevathan's just a really do-it-all guy. He knows how he's going to do it, and he's going to be right here on the play. Sorry about that, he's right there. And then he's going to blitz on this play, Trevathan. And then he just takes on the back. One of the things that happens is running backs, they don't know how to protect consistently enough inside. And you saw C.J. there, Prosise, he's just not understanding that you got to set up in the box. You got to go meet those guys at the line of scrimmage. And you can't wait on them. That's what gave up that sack. Critical time. They had a little momentum, couldn't capitalize.
It's interesting, the Bears are moving Mack around. Normally he lines up at left defensive end. Now he's at right defensive end, trying to get him away from all the chips and double teams.
2nd and 16. As that is ahead for 8 yards to Tyler Lockett. 1 timeout remaining for Seattle. Clock under 40 seconds to play. 3rd down and 8. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks looking for anything here to close out this first half. As he gets past the first would-be tackler and then lunges ahead to move the chains. 9 yards on 3rd and 8 from the elusive and slippery Russell Wilson.
This is what Wilson wants to do, though. He wants to find that pocket inside. He hasn't had that all night because the rush has been so good inside by Hakeem Hicks. And just the effort. I mean, you talk about guts. This guy brings it every week, takes these hits.
So Seattle uses the timeout. Want to remind you, coming up on the commercial-free Genesis halftime show, Susie Colbert, Lewis Riddick, Steve Young. We'll analyze Khalil Mack's first half performance and what a performance it has been. SVP interview with Von Miller and a special performance by Cheat Codes featuring Q's. Cheat Codes and Cubs coming up on the commercial-free Genesis halftime show.
This situation, you just want to be smart with the ball, stay aggressive. It hasn't been a great first half, but to have an opportunity to cut it to a 1-possession game would be huge for the Seahawks offense.
First down, Wilson extends, launches downfield, wants every bit of it. Incomplete. As Tyler Lockett was waiting on it, and it leaves 16 seconds. Eddie Jackson with the coverage off that long throw by Wilson.
Yeah, Russell just knows where he's at in the game, extends the play. He's got Lockett, and Eddie Jackson closes there. Talk about the back end speed of him, the safety number 39. Ability to close on that because he had Lockett open. That's one of the things that Russell does so well. Keeps his eyes up down the field when he scrambles.
Remember, no timeouts for Seattle. 2nd and 10. Can they at least get into field goal range for Sebastian Janikowski? Well, that'll help the cause, but they got to clock it here as Marshall gets it. Can they get to the line here? 6 seconds and counting. And they do, with 2 ticks of the clock remaining.
Great situational awareness.
Was good in this direction in warm-ups, hitting from 55. Of course, has a career long of 63.
He's got a big leg, Joe. You know, he's batting about 285 in the knife and fork league now. You see this guy, but he's got a strong leg. Russell gives him a chance.
56-yarder. He's had a lot of career success on 50-plus yarders. If he makes this one, in fact, it will extend his NFL record to 56 made from at least 50 yards.
And, you know, this is a big kick. Seattle hadn't played well in the first half. Khalil Mack's been dominating. But if you make this field goal, you go into halftime only down 1 score, and you feel really good about your team. You can go in and regroup. They got some adjustments to make, but you at least feel good going in, being able to regroup for the second half.
Yeah, and getting the opportunity to have this by Russell, the awareness and the situational football to clock that ball, give him a chance on this kick.
56 yards away. Wow. Why not Sebastian Janikowski? And much needed for Pete Carroll and Seattle.
You're going to see the big fella, man. He's still got a strong leg. He said he was upset about that miss last week.
He put all 260 pounds behind that one. And boy, did they need something a little positive. 10-3. Bears are going to get the ball to start the second half. As we'll join Susie Colbert for the commercial-free Genesis halftime show starting right now. Sunday night football on a beautiful evening in Chicago. Home team up a touchdown. Trey Burton, the lone touchdown on this game. Janikowski, the 56-yard field goal for Seattle just before the half. The quarterback comparison between Russell Wilson and Mitchell Trubisky. You know, Russ had the field goal drive before the half to create some hope for Seattle. Trubisky started things off with a 96-yard drive to open things up for Chicago. Joe Tessitore and Jason Witten with you up here in the booth. We'll check in with Booger McFarland in a moment. Our field level analyst. Two teams trying to avoid 0-2 marks here. Little hope for Seattle there. Tell me what you saw out of each of the starting quarterbacks, Witt.
Well, it was a good start for Trubisky, you know, to go out on the road. I mean, to be able to come here after the loss on the road last week and then to come back. But this is what he can't do. Play action and a missed throw right there to Gabriel. That's why they call these play actions. And then he's just loose with the ball. He cannot leave it short on that throw. Single high coverage outside. You can't leave it short. But then Russell on the other side. His ability to just get outside the pocket. They haven't been able to block Mack all night. But this is a critical time in the game where he has to do it with his legs. We talked about it. We knew it. And look at the guts and effort by this guy to give his kicker, Janikowski, just a chance to make that kick. And as bad as they played Seattle, they're still in this game. With that kick, and now to make it a one-possession score, you know, they have to like where they're at. Come back, regroup. Pete Carroll's going to talk to him about that. And for Trubisky, just settle in. The first home game now. Tough loss on the road last week. Regroup. He's done some good things, and he, too, is athletic.
Remember, the Bears deferred when they won the opening toss, so they will have the ball to start things off. Look, the Bears 5 sacks tonight of Russell Wilson. Khalil Mack, a big reason why.
Well, Khalil Mack was absolutely dominant. His fours set the table for everyone else. And on top of that, he ate himself coming off the edge. The ability to turn power and speed and get to the quarterback using pure and raw power coming off the edge. You say, you know what? You're going to block me one-on-one. I'll show you, and getting to Russell Wilson. And then just the all-out effort. Bumping with the tight end. Affetti comes out. But you know what? If I get the football, it's just as good as getting a sack. Khalil Mack, dominant, a defensive player of the year type effort in the first half tonight.
You know, Trubisky's such a big difference, Witt, between his shorter throws and his deeper throws with his productivity. First down and 10 as he gets it over to Robinson, who breaks free and gets good yards after the catch. Let's check in with Lisa Salters. Lisa?
Hey, Tess, well, I was talking to Matt Nagy. He said it was a nice start, just like we had last week. But he said also, like last week, we've got to do a better job in the red zone. As for Khalil Mack, he said he is really helping us out right now because he's putting us in good field position. We've got to capitalize. Of course, Khalil Mack, the rest of that defense is what Pete Carroll is trying to solve. He said we've got to protect for Russell Wilson better. Yes, we cannot take all those sacks. It would be good to establish the run, he said, but we've got to quicken up the pace. Russell cannot hold the ball. We've got to get the ball out quicker.
Lisa Wilson has been sacked an NFL high 11 times through 2 games this season. Jordan Howard was met right at the line that time by Quentin Jefferson. Able to fall forward for 2 yards.
It'll be interesting to see what type of offense the Bears come out with. We talk about the script at the beginning of the game. Going into halftime, what about the script coming out? They knew they were going to get the football. Now, does Matt Nagy get back on some sort of a script for Trubisky, get him back in rhythm the way he was early in the football game?
Second and 8. Flag comes in as Trubisky gets it complete over the middle to the rookie Anthony Miller. We will check on the flag. For now, it stands as a 13-yard reception, but they could be walking back.
Illegal formation on the offense, only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That's one of the things when you do all these different formations and personnel groups, Joe. Sometimes the guys don't know who's on the ball and who's off the ball. Can't have those silly mistakes because that was a good job of Trubisky. Creating, buying time, and then hitting Gabriel over the middle. The power of the play action. If you see it, a lot of it, it's on second down. That's when he wants to do it.
They take care of business on first down just enough, and then it becomes a play caller's down on second and manageable. Instead, with the penalty, 2nd and 13. This is complete just beyond the 40 to Robinson. Robinson has been his favorite target tonight, and why not? He was the big grab in free agency coming over from Jacksonville off the injury.
He's a good route runner. He goes in motion. He sticks it at the top and gets separation. He understands the coverage. He allows the flat defender to pull the linebacker, and then he gets back to the ball. You got to come back to the ball at the top of the routes. And Trubisky putting it right between the 1 and the 2. On-time throws and accurate passes allows you to get in third and manageable.
He's been looking at Robinson a lot on third down. Let's see if he goes that way this time. They're showing A-gap pressure, possibly backing out. They come from the other side, and they're able to get to him from newly signed Michael Kendricks. First sack for Seattle.
Just a tremendous blitz there by Kendricks. Trubisky, I think, saw the blitz coming, but he couldn't check out of it. And Kendricks just coming scot-free right up the middle there. Just an unbelievable play by him. He was unblocked. But think about this guy. He's facing jail time, potentially, and he's out here on the field tonight trying to give everything he has for his teammates. Unbelievable focus by Kendricks.
They didn't even sign him until Thursday or Friday. I mean, that short week, he's had a lot of production.
Here's Lockett on the return as he's run down at the 30-yard line. So Seattle's offense will be out there trailing by a touchdown, and that means big Mr. Mack is out there. Khalil and company when we return to Monday Night Football. Russell Wilson has been under a lot of pressure from that Bears front.
They've been all over him the entire night. One of the things they want to do is pressure inside and then measure it with the outside. It's called storm the castle. Just overwhelm him. You don't want to get too deep. Right there, he has nowhere to go because it's coming in his face and on the edge. They don't want to get behind him. They studied him and knew that he wanted to get outside the pocket. And here, Khalil Mack, elephants on parade. Everybody's going left. You might want to block 52. One of the things is when you're trying to get him outside the pocket, and Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator, told us, you want to get on the edge, but guess what? When they run this 3-4 defense, Khalil Mack's there. I mean, the tight ends just got to grab him and pull him down with you. Cannot allow him to come free off the edge. Keeping Russell Wilson inside the pocket is why they're being so successful.
Storm the castle. That castle with Russell Wilson on the throne needs a moat. Right now, that offensive line is leaky. Here's Lockett, and he only goes ahead for a couple yards. So Khalil Mack is from Fort Pierce, Florida, between Miami and Orlando. Started playing football as a senior in high school. Boy, was he a cute kid with. By the way, he didn't even have a photo on his rival's recruiting page. He was only a 2-star recruit. If you don't have the headshot, you're grossly under-recruited. But he went to the University of Buffalo, and he was the MAC Defensive Player of the Year. And he's grown into one of the most dominant players in the league. Newly minted in Chicago as a superstar. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 8 as he was looking for Will Dissly, covered by Bryce Callahan.
You know, you mentioned him about Khalil Mack being a 2-star recruit. You know, it's a great PSA for every high school player out there. Everyone, you want to be a 5-star, you think you have to earn everything and go do that. You know what? Doesn't always work out that way. Just different road for all these guys. And this guy's just a dominant player, isn't he, Boog?
Third and 8. Pressured again and incomplete, thrown into the ground as Callahan was coming after Wilson.
You know, Callahan's going to line up there, and he's going to blitz off the slot. That's what he does. He's right here, and then he's going to come off the edge and blitz. And it looks like Russell sees it, but the back can't scan across because he's in protection. The awareness on those routes, and Vic Fangio said that he wanted to pressure Russell Wilson, and downs like that, they're just bringing more than Seattle had to protect.
Ooh, nearly got to Dixon. It's another knuckler that's fielded at the 16. As Cohen gets out at about the 21. The 4th 3-and-out thrown at Seattle by that Bears defense. Hey, coming up on SportsCenter with SVP after the game, we'll have the live reaction to Khalil Mack's first home game here. Urban Meyer sat down with our Tom Rinaldi, his interview on being suspended. And the worst beats of the weekend. That is Sports Center with SVP on ESPN after we wrap things up here in Chicago. Such an interesting weekend in the NFL. As we look at the graffiti arts of Brian Urlacher, who received his Hall of Fame ring at halftime here. Trubisky gets it out quickly underneath to Trey Burton, who had the touchdown earlier. There's Earl Thomas, who ended his holdout 4 days before the opening game. Looking for a new contract or a trade to a team that would give him one. Pete Carroll said to us the other day, said, listen, I don't want him to ever be anywhere else. We'll figure it out.
He's still one of the better safeties in the league, Joe. Against the run, so much range in the pass game. Unbelievable safety.
To the outside and able to get it to Robinson. You know, speaking of Earl Thomas, Boog, let's tell the story of the Seahawks defensive roster changes Avengers style. Well, this is some cool stuff now. Of course, they lost Super Bowl 49 to the Patriots. Defensive core disintegrated through free agency, transactions, and retirement. Only Earl Thomas, Bobby Wagner, and KJ Wright, who aren't playing tonight, are still on the team. I think Thomas would be Iron Man if we're talking about Avengers style in the defensive changes with Seattle. Can't be Captain America, Boog, because we know that's Witt's nickname.
Yeah, that's Jason
Witt's
Witten.
nickname. Jason Witten is Captain America. Mr. Perfect up next to me here.
Exactly.
So Robinson gets it just short of the 40. Well, what do you think of how Pete Carroll handled the situation with Earl Thomas? Obviously, he's part of the executive ranks as well, saying we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and really with Earl, just like you said, he talked about we'll get it figured out, come into camp. He knew he'd be prepared. He's had a lot of stripes on the wall, and he knows that they've been in the foxhole for many years. So the contract, the business, it'll work itself out. But Pete said a lot of that noise, it's just clutter. We just eliminate it. We get back to focus on ball, and that's what they did with Earl Thomas.
You're sniffing around your old team there, Whit. 2nd and 4 as Howard gets ahead.
You know, Joe, you're talking about the noise and everything. The Seattle defense is playing unbelievable tonight. They've been outplayed by the Chicago Bears defense, but it's only 10-3. Couple of turnovers for this defense. They're keeping them in the game. And as far as Earl Thomas is concerned, he said simply, hey, pay me or trade me. Pete Carroll said, yeah, we'll talk and we'll work that out. He's still one of the better safeties in the league, and he wants to be paid like it.
The only defensive player on the field tonight who started their last Super Bowl. That, of course, against the Patriots. First down after that run by Howard, who's flanking Trubisky to the left. Pressure off the edge. Trubisky steps forward and goes down and is sacked. That was Frank Clark, who was coming around to find Mitchell Trubisky, their second sack tonight.
You talk about being shot out of a cannon? Take a look at Frank Clark, the ability for him to come around the corner. Might have been offsides, but guess what? If they don't call it, no harm, no foul. Frank Clark coming around the corner, putting pressure on Trubisky.
And Trubisky there, he needs to start using that double cadence, change up his snap count a little bit, because Frank Clark just timed it up. Yeah. There is nothing Bobby Massey can do there.
You know, Boog, you get off the line quickly when it's the final year of your rookie contract. He's looking for that cash, my man. That's Seattle's only sack of opening week as well. 2nd and 13. As Gabriel wanted the flag, coverage came from Shaquille Griffin, who had 2 interceptions in that first half. You know, the Griffin brothers, obviously such a great inspirational story with Shaquille, but Shaquille's played a huge role in his brother's life. They're from St. Petersburg, Florida. Now look at the cheeks on Shaquille as a little baby there. Of course, Shaquille had his hand amputated at 4 years old. Matching outfits every which way. I love the shot with the boxing gloves on. And they are inseparable, and of course, Shaquille drafted to Seattle, such an emotional moment. 3rd and 13 as he checks down to Howard, who just makes his way short of the 50. Tackled by Austin Calitro from Danbury, Connecticut, who was an overachiever, went from redshirt freshman at Villanova to a senior captain. And there is Shaquille, the well-told inspirational story of being the first player in NFL history drafted into the league with only one hand. And by the way, probably a smile on the face of the family, the Jones family of Ellis Jones, who played in the NFL with the Boston Yanks back in 1945, who had one arm. Ellis Jones was drafted in the 8th round, lost an arm in a childhood accident. The Boston Yanks became the Colts. Still a touchdown lead for Chicago. 6:36 remaining in the third here on Monday Night Football. Families affected by Hurricane Florence urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to these families. We urge you to donate today by going to redcross.org or text Florence to 90999 to give $10 to the American Red Cross Hurricane Relief.
Tell you what, Joe, if I'm Brian Schottenheimer, I'm being aggressive on this drive. Take some long shots off the play action. You need it. Capitalize, build on that, what happened there at the end of the first half.
From their worst starting field position tonight, he goes underneath. That ball hit the ground there, and it is incomplete, juggled as Roquan Smith was right on top of Chris Carson.
Russell Wilson and Brian Schottenheimer, they have to start being aggressive. You got away with those points right before the half, and I like the mindset of they're just trying to, they got to take some shots down the field. They got to flip this momentum. They're backed up. Their defense is playing good with being beat up like they are. You got to take advantage of it right here.
Remember, he told us last night how disappointed he was in the spots they would get into on third down. Said too many third and longs. Let's see if they can get something manageable here. It's 2nd and 10.
Lockett's got the speed.
Downfield he goes, overthrown, looking for Lockett as Amukamara was out in front defensively.
You know, it's tough for him to be aggressive, guys, especially when the offensive line is not blocking. Russell Wilson is under siege in the pocket. There you have Lockett out in the seam one-on-one, trying to get deep. Nice coverage by Prince Amukamara. But Whit, I hear you. They want to go deep, but it's hard to go deep when the quarterback is on his back, big fella.
Yeah, but Lockett's got to get outside, release that corner, stacking, and play to the sideline. You can't inside release there because the safety's coming over the top to help. Nowhere to throw that football. Now they got a critical third down.
And the play clock's down to 3. Seemingly always third and long tonight. As they're able to get the timeout. Well, this has been the big issue tonight for Seattle.
There he is, Pete. He's got that gum chomping, Mr. Positive, but this is third down situation. You see it here. You know, he's 2 for 12 last week on third down. Tonight, they're 2 for 9. You cannot win like that, Joe. You've got to convert third down. But you're right. They're not protecting very well.
Right.
But another thing is they're not in manageable down and distance.
Correct.
The best third down teams in this league, they win on 1st and 2nd. But when they do come up, like we saw there before the end of the half, Russell's just got to create. He's got to do it with his legs.
And Whit, doesn't this get back to the run game? Because if you can run the ball well on 1st down, you're more manageable on 2nd down, and then you're not dealing with spots like this. 3rd down and 10 from your own 8. Backed up into his own end zone. Just checks underneath and then torn down, tackled for a loss that time. As Aaron Lynch was able to get to Mike Davis.
But look at the effort from this Bear defense. You talk about Khalil Mack coming over, being contagious. He's coming inside. He said, you know what, I'm going to move Russell Wilson out of the pocket. But watch the big fellas run, the effort, the all-out, relentless pursuit. This is the hallmark of any great defense. Guys running to the ball and swarming with.
And Boog, they wanted him to inside on that rush. Ifedi overset him a little bit because they forced it to get the screen pass behind it, but the effort this guy has to keep playing, he is relentless.
Here's Cohen. Shakes free. Flag is down as Cohen goes past midfield. 54-yard punt from Michael Dixon. That Bears defense, the 5th 3-and-out for Seattle's offense tonight.
During the return, illegal block at the back. Number 20 of the return team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
You know, Seattle's offense has 80 total yards right now, guys.
It's been bad. It's just been a bad offense. But, you know, you saw Pete Carroll there He turned 67 on Saturday. He's a young 67, you know? Get that Benjamin Button. Looks like he gets younger and younger every year. It's incredible what he's done. And his defense hasn't played bad. You know, to hold them to 10, as beat up as they are.
You want to know how bad that number is with when we say 80 total yards? Fewest yards the Seahawks have had in the first 3 quarters during the Russell Wilson era is 83. That was back in week 7 of 2016. They're sitting on 80 right now with 5.5 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter.
They got to regroup, though. They can't worry about that. They're still in the game.
And now back to business is Trubisky with Howard the lone back. They go with the receiver screen to Gabriel as he somehow finds a little crease out to the 40-yard line, tackled by McDougal.
And on the flip side, now Chicago's offense, Trubisky, they do such a good job on 1st down with quick passes that take the place of the running game, getting 5 and 6 yards. Where they haven't capitalized is in the red zone, and the turnovers is what hurt them. Trubisky's just got to take advantage of it. He's marching up and down the field at times. He's got to protect the football and capitalize on those big play actions.
Sunday.
As his first-year head coach looks on, and he play calls for Jordan Howard, who darts out for a 1st down. Matt Nagy's been an incredible ride to get to this position. As you see, slow to get up was Kyle Long. You know, Nagy was a record-setting quarterback at Delaware, playing for the Blue Hens. Grew up in Central PA. And he really was something as a college quarterback. Said, you know, I think I'm going to get a shot as a pro. Oh, he did play pro ball in the Arena League, where he passed for 374 touchdowns in 6 seasons. That league folded. He sold real estate, and then he got an internship with Andy Reid, and that changed his life. Started off with Philadelphia, grew all the way into the OC of the Kansas City Chiefs. Going on the carry on 1st down. What do you like about Nagy?
Well, there's always a learning curve for new head coaches. But he said the only thing he learned from Andy Reid was at his time, and he's all about ball. And he said, you know, you got to stay in tune. Even though you're the head coach, you got to be in there. And when we saw him on Saturday, he was just talking about he's going to visit with the quarterbacks. He's in that room a lot. I love the guy. He's not a rah-rah motivational guy. He's strictly just, I'm going to think outside the box and find different ways to put my quarterback in position to be successful.
2nd and 9. Trubisky goes to Trey Burton, and Burton will go get close to a 1st down. You know what I loved of our visit with when we were with Nagy? He says, guys, come down to the office. Now, you can't take any pictures, but I got to show you what I've got here. He's got that Beautiful Mind grease board, the whiteboard, and it looks like something out of the movie A Beautiful Mind, with scribble with plays everywhere. He sits there all day and just scribbles up there with the markers and stares at it.
He's a mad scientist, Joe. I mean, I watch ball. I love to draw on the whiteboard, too. I look at that, I'm like, my goodness, it's so organized and neat. He said, you know, coaches will come in and draw. He's like, no, don't touch that. This is it. He's just getting in the lab, man. That's his spot that he loves to go to.
He was laughing, saying Mark Helfrich, former Oregon head coach, who's his offensive coordinator, as they go with Howard here ahead towards the 40. Boogie said Helfrich comes in. He wants it all neat. He's erasing the thing with his forearm. He's making a mess of it, Boog.
Yeah, instead of taking pictures of it with their iPhone, making sure that they don't lose some of the plays. He's an innovator, guy. He's someone who they brought here to see if they can make Mitch Trubisky a franchise quarterback. Can you turn him into someone that can lead this franchise? The Bears haven't really had one. You talk about Jay Cutler, and then you go all the way back to Sid Luckman, somebody that this town can rally behind. It's always been defense. Now they want it to be the quarterback position.
Taylor Gabriel lined up in the backfield here. A little slot receiver at 5'8", 165 on 2nd and 4. And he gets the ball. And can he get to the edge, cuts in, and he'll have the 1st down. And that's exactly what we talk about with the exotic personnel groupings.
That's what he does. I mean, Gabriel's playing running back, and then you're going to see Cohen as the receiver. This is the same touchdown pass we saw to Burton down in the red zone. Instead, he just decides to give it to Gabriel. Numerous different ways that he does it. And, you know, one last thing on Nagy. He learned from Andy Reid, and I played against Andy those times when he was in Philadelphia, some great battles against us in Dallas. He's a great ball coach. I mean, connected with his players. He loves it. Honest communicator. And this the program that he's now gone to Kansas City and built. Nagy says he owes him a lot.
2 tights here on 1st and 10. Trubisky steps up, gets free, slides ahead to the 31.
You know, we talked about this offense and Nagy taking it from Kansas City. This is the play last year. Does it look familiar? Fake the fly sweep, come back on the zone read, in plays upfield, shovel pass to the tight end. Now in the red zone earlier in the game, same read, same motion out of the backfield to Burton. A lot of carryover, and that's why Chicago Bears fans should be so excited, because we've seen the success that offense has had in Kansas City, and now they're hoping to create that environment here.
2nd and 6. Quick to the outside as Bellamy is able to get a first down. That Kansas City offense right now, I mean, what they did to the Steelers yesterday, and Mahomes with 10 passing touchdowns in the first 2 games. That's an NFL record. Kansas City's going to have a showdown with Denver coming up on Monday Night Football. And I'm already drooling thinking about November in Mexico City with that Kansas City offense against Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald and the LA Rams down in Mexico City, boy.
It's going to be phenomenal.
Lady! What's up?
Here they are again with the short handoff off the motion with Gabriel. And he gets ahead for 9 yards. Chicago is knocking on the door again. They have a touchdown lead as we come to the end of the 3rd on Monday Night Football. Glad you're with us for Monday Night Football in Chicago. Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten upstairs, Booger McFarland, our field level analyst, our reporter Lisa Salters, and a Bears team that has been dominating the box score through 3 quarters. Look at the plays and the yards and the possession, but yet still only a 7-point lead for Chicago as they look to add to it to start this 4th quarter. Some of the legends surrounding Soldier Field on a night where they honored a legend in Brian Urlacher. Perhaps a blossoming future legend who will be remembered here in Khalil Mack. What a start to his Bears career.
The Bears have really put together a nice grinded out possession here with all the formations, but they got to finish now. They're in the red zone. They got to capitalize.
2nd and 2. Howard patiently waiting, getting to the outside and cutting back to the 10-yard line.
What a patience by Howard. He allows his left guard, Eric Kush, to get around there. Sometimes when they're pulling around, it takes them a little long. Both guards pull, kick out, and climb, and then allows Howard to hit it. It all works together. You got to set these blocks up. The linemen are going to do the dirty work for you, but you got to allow them, give them that opportunity. That's what Howard did there.
Bug, you're down there elevated above that line of scrimmage. What are you looking for here?
This Seattle defense, you get the feel that they're about to break. They've been on the field twice as long as Chicago, the defense tonight.
Trubisky, play action to the end zone. Touchdown, Bears, Anthony Miller.
They're going to call the bootleg, fake the zone read, roll back out there, and Miller at the top of that route, just sticking King. And they talked about this young player, Joe, when they brought him here. They traded back up to get him in the 2nd round this year, Miller. His route running, he thinks he's the best receiver, and he showed it there. The patience, and then the stick and that little head-shoulder nod that he gave. He got the corner team there on his heels. Good throw by Trubisky, rolling to his left.
He is so confident as Miller. And Trubisky with 2 touchdown passes tonight. Bears up by 14. First multi-passing touchdown game in the career of Mitchell Trubisky. Just had the touchdown toss to Anthony Miller. Great looking receiver out of Memphis. He was a consensus college All-America there. Talked about his confidence. There's a video that the Bears posted where Miller says, at the end of my career, I will be known as one of the best to ever play the game. Bears defense has been equally impressive. Seattle has just 6 plays for 1 yard in this 2nd half, and Khalil Mack is a big reason why he's wearing the Monday Night Mic.
Get these guys playing our way.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. I got you. I got you. I got you. Let's go, baby. Come on. I need you. Let's get it.
I love the Monday Night Mike. Curious to see who will be wearing it next week in Tampa. Maybe McCoy. Maybe a little Fitz magic, huh? Tampa is playing great ball. And they get the Steelers next week. Here's Rashad Penny. First-round draft pick. Catches a seam and goes ahead for 10.
Good run by Penny. We haven't seen much of him, but they're trying to stay true to it. They still got enough time. 14 minutes to go in the fourth. They can run the football. Penny, that's what they saw in him. He led the nation in rushing in college last year. They can keep feeding him.
This time he only goes ahead for a yard as Mack and Trevathan combine for the tackle.
I think if you're Seattle, you're down 2 touchdowns. I get running the football, slowing this defensive line down, but you're going to have to drop back. Brian Schottenheimer is going to have to trust this offensive line and allow Russell Wilson to make some plays.
Absolutely, and Russell's going to have to do it with his legs some too.
2nd and 9. Taken down right away was Nick Van Nett. Adrian Amos, 4th year out of Penn State. Safety comes up with the tackle there.
Where's the tempo, though? You're down 2 touchdowns. Where's the sense of urgency from Seattle? You have to get 2 scores, get to the line, get your offense moving.
3rd down. They're in this formation here. They're going to use the tight end up top. Van Nett to chip Mack. One of these other 3 down at the bottom of the screen. They got to get open. Separation on the crossing routes.
3rd down and 5. Wilson complete to Lockett for a 1st down.
And that's what he does so well, his ability to stay in the pocket and make those throws.
See, they're marking him down there, so disregard the ball coming out at the end.
So he had a lane. He had a lane to run, potentially get it, but he said he worked on this. Brian Schottenheimer said that's one of the things they've done all offseason. Stay in there. You saw Aaron Rodgers do it last week. Those are the plays they can get big chunks.
21-yard reception there. That never had a chance, blown up by Jonathan Bullard. Under 12.5 to play for Pete Carroll's team, trying to avoid 0-2. 92 teams have started a season 0-2 since 2007. Only 10 of those 92 have qualified for the playoffs. 2nd and 11. Complete underneath again, and ahead goes Nick Van Nett for what should be a 1st down. And it is 11 yards there. Roquan Smith on the tackle.
Joe, I told you early in the game, I said, a lot of quarterbacks like to be ahead of the change and systematic approach. I really believe he plays his best football in these situations. This is when he's at his best. He's down a little bit, a little up-tempo, scrambling, making these throws off script plays.
Penny gets the work. We talked to him about that. Everybody wants you to, be conforming. He said, I'm the kind of guy, I start shooting threes, I'm not going to stop shooting threes. He is who he is.
That's right, and that's the mindset you got to have. He referenced Steph Curry and these types. You're going to have off nights. Not always going to work out, but, he said it to us, too. It's worked out pretty well for him.
Sure has.
I mean, to think how he creates outside the pocket, and I do. You can see he's confident in this situation.
Davis wrapped up for a loss. Big Akeem Hicks.
And we talk about Khalil Mack, and rightfully so, because he's a potential defensive player of the year. But the guy that's been the best player on defense the last 2 years is number 96, Akeem Hicks. Look at the swim move. The center had no chance. That's the quickness of a big man for you.
They try to get the quick trap. I think in that situation, you really got to put the ball in Russell's hands.
3rd down and 7. Penalty flag comes in. That was Amukamara with coverage against David Moore.
Moore really ran a good route in that situation. He's going to see him. He gets past Prince. He just goes a little double move.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 20, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Just a lot of hand fighting going on there. You thought he had tight coverage, and now the Seattle offense is starting to move. Are they going to put the ball in Russell Wilson's hands? You're going to go empty. You're going to give him a chance to do what he does, which is be an improvisational guy inside and outside the pocket.
This area of field, I really look for Marshall to step up. Use that size, his experience. These are the type of areas of the field you really want to see him take advantage of his big body that he has.
First down after the penalty.
That's it.
Pitch to Penny. He was met hard that time at the 20-yard line by Kwiatkowski and Mack.
You know, he's really sticking to this running game. Brian Schottenheimer is, you know, and you do have enough time, so I don't want to be overly critical of it, but, you know, you got to allow Russell to get out. Like you were mentioning, Bo, he's so good in the empty sets, creating plays.
10th play of a critical drive. To the end zone goes Russell Wilson. What an effort that time by Tyler Lockett. Oh, my.
So you like apples? How you like those apples right there, man? Boom! Russell Wilson, when you need him most. Lockett fought hard. He did a good job coming down and making that catch at the end. But my goodness, look at this throw by Russell. Defensive end on the backside is unblocked. You saw it there. He doesn't matter. Russell takes these hits. And look at this throw. Great job by Lockett. Not putting his hands up too early. Fuller doesn't even know the ball's coming there in the last second. Lockett goes up and makes a tough contested catch. But it's all about that throw of Russell Wilson.
Just a dynamic drive as a flag comes in here on the PAT by Russell Wilson. And just when they needed it most, he goes 10 plays, 75 yards, and delivers.
And I'll give Brian Schottenheimer a lot of credit there, you know. Down 14, he stuck to that running game, and then he was able to get that play there to score. Now it's a one-possession game, and you put the pressure on your defense to get a stop, and you have a chance.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 95 of the defense leverage. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
By the way, Russell Wilson, 4 of 4 on that drive. This was a beauty. Tyler Lockett.
Let's get to work.
Russell Wilson with the 19-yard touchdown pass to Lockett moments ago. Tonight's Total Replay is brought to you by NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV.
Well, he's going to see Lockett go down. It's just a go route and another go route. But the guy here is Eddie Jackson. That's who you have to keep an eye on. He sees him come down, cover 0, one-on-one on the outside with no safety behind, and drops a dime. We got ourselves a ball game, Joe. Look at that throw he makes right there in that situation. It's an incredible play. We talked about it, 19 fourth-quarter touchdowns last year. He's made for moments like this.
How many times do you ever see a drop kick kickoff? Michael Dixon, the punter, was just out there for this as Miller takes it on the return.
So Pete's excited, and he's rallying the troops. That's what he does. He's motivating these guys. This defense, banged up Seattle defense, they got to respond, try to get a stop here.
Not only that, but young Mitch Trubisky had a 2-touchdown lead. Now it's down to a single possession game. How does Matt Nagy call the game now? A little bit more run, or do you continue to have the offense a little bit more wide open?
Remember, Seattle's first 8 drives, they had 80 yards in total and 3 points. That last drive, they went for 75 yards and got the much-needed touchdown. This is a rarity. I just mentioned it moments ago. But Seattle, after the penalty, decided to bring out the Australian Dixon, a drop kick kickoff. Now, we're going to send our stats folks into overdrive here, but I'm going to put it out there. You tell me the last time you've ever seen a drop kick kickoff in the NFL.
I don't know that it's ever happened, Joe, but
wow.
Last time I saw it, Doug Flutie did it for the Patriots on an extra point, I believe.
Exactly, yeah.
But this is Dixon, the Australian, who's got all this crazy leg talent, and Carroll getting a little exotic there.
False start, number 18, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
This will be a big opportunity, guys, for this Seattle defense, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, they got him backed up a little bit here. This defense just on the corners on the outside. They just got to stay aggressive out there. You know, for so long, those guys were so good with Richard Sherman And what they need to do is just play smart, force it underneath, and rally and tackle. That's what the Legion of Boom's all about.
They have a starter out tonight at corner, and Trey Flowers, the rookie. Underneath Trey Burton, and he is met just short of the 15-yard line by Calitro, who is starting in place of Bobby Wagner. So Bobby Wagner, the all-pro inside linebacker, KJ Wright is out, and Trey Flowers. 3 starters out for the Seattle defense that Matt Nagy across the way is play calling against.
But you know, Pete Carroll believes in the next man up attitude. And so now it's a crucial third down. Are we going to play zone coverage, or are you going to heat him up and make young Trubisky a little nervous? Can they get the happy feet from him in the pocket?
Here's a big down for Chicago. 3rd down and 10. Can the Seattle defense do their job? He steps up, going to tuck, run, and he'll be short, and they will be punting away.
Really good call by Ken Norton and Pete Carroll. He brought pressure there on Trubisky, and he had to get out of that pocket, tried to run for it, but you don't see Pete Carroll's defense a lot pressure. Tonight they are. Pete talked about that. He's an innovator. You know, he fired both coordinators last year in Bevel and Chris Richard, and now he brings in new guys. He wants to get back to playing Seahawk defense, pressure.
Punt from Pat O'Donnell. See if Lockett has a chance here. Calls for the fair catch. Hey, Russell Wilson and the Seahawks going to have the ball, only trailing by 7. And he has been excellent in 4th quarters. We'll talk about that when we return to Monday Night Football. Mack and Russell Wilson are 4th quarter superstars. Wilson has 60 4th quarter touchdown passes in his career. That leads the NFL's 2012. He has 31 touchdown passes in 1-score games. What do we have here? A 1-score game. By the way, Khalil Mack has 15.5 4th quarter sacks in his career and 10.5 sacks in 1-score games. That leads the NFL since 2014. How does that set up as we stand here with 8:37 to play in Chicago? Strength against strength. Mack against Wilson. Fascinating to see how this will play out and who will avoid 0-2. Pitch to Penny. Cuts back. Rashad Penny keeping his balance just beyond the 40-yard line. Finally tripped up by Kyle Fuller. 6 long yards to go side to side.
Yeah, Brian Schottenheimer staying true to that running game. He wants to take some of that pressure off of Russell so he doesn't have to do it all the time. And then when the moments come, take advantage of it. But make no mistake about it. Russell Wilson's like LeBron. He's got the whole franchise on his back. But give Brian Schottenheimer credit, staying true to it and allow him to run the football with a lot of time on the clock.
Look at number 19 at the top of your screen, the receiver for Seattle. That's former Navy quarterback Keenan Reynolds. 2nd and 4. Penny, good run as he's going to be close to that line to make. Looks like he's right on the 45. Let's see how they spot it. And they are moving the chains.
He's staying true to the running game. He's going to allow him to keep moving it. And Penny is finally getting going. He didn't play real well last week. Looked like he was tired some. The running back, number 20. But he's finding these soft spots. He's wearing on this Chicago defense.
He only had 7 carries for just 8 rushing yards at Denver in his NFL debut. First-round draft pick out of San Diego State. A timeout is used by Seattle. Mr. 4th quarter. Can he be that tonight here in Chicago? 7:20 remaining, trailing by a touchdown on Monday Night Football. The NBA and the NFL pay tribute to our armed forces through Salute to Service. Seahawks wide receiver Keenan Reynolds commissioned as a junior naval officer in 2016, promoted to lieutenant junior grade this year. Of course, as Navy's quarterback, he was a record setter. His jersey retired, number 19. He's there with Roger Staubach, Joe Bellino, Napoleon McCallum. He's a legend at the Naval Academy, and he is a receiver now for the Seahawks. Was just out there moments ago watching on this 4th quarter drive now. I formation with big Trey Madden in front of Rashad Penny. First down, Seattle. Penny getting plenty of work here in this 4th quarter. Goes ahead for a yard that time, taken down by Robertson Harris.
They're staying true to this running game, but now there comes a point you can get to some of these play actions. Try to get a shot in there. Second down. This is when you want the best play call. This is when you want it now. You got the ball, the momentum's flipping a little bit. Take advantage of this. And he's going empty here. See if he can get a play.
Second and 9, empty set as you mentioned. Oh, it is picked off. Amukamara. Can he get past Russ? He does. My, oh my. Russell Wilson, first interception return for a touchdown in his last 2,778 pass attempts.
And it was just an empty set. Quick game. They're trying to get to third and manageable. But look at that, number 20. He saw it. He jumped that route. And that's a house call. He knew what he was doing.
Prince Amukamara. Game changer just like that.
Watch Amukamara, though. He sees it. He knows that it's quick game. He's looking, he's spot dropping. He did his film study. One of the things that Seattle does when they get empty is they want to get the ball out mentality. Hello. He sees it open up. Russ has a little bit of a wind up there. Good reaction by the veteran corner. Heard a lot of talk about last week. And that breakdown, a little bit of a choke job, potentially what happened last week with Aaron Rodgers. Enough of that. Great response by this Vic Fangio defense.
You know, Whit, you got a veteran cornerback who, as you said, has done his film study. He's sitting on that route. There was no chance of him ever playing any route deep. So it was either going to be feast or famine right there, and he got the feast. Veteran player understanding down, distance, and situation. Film study during the week leads to a house call.
Russell Wilson threw only other one pick six in his career. It came in his rookie season. And then this moment here in Chicago. Just when you started to see Seattle piecing things together, Amukamara breaks on it, takes it, and burns away with it.
Good awareness, understanding. And Russ is just a little bit of that wind up. I mean, as good of a player he is, right? I mean, we know he's a franchise quarterback, Russell Wilson. Those are the things, though, inside the pocket. Yeah, Amukamara drove on it, and they haven't been able to stretch the field a lot, and that happens sometimes. They guess right. They get paid, too, on the other side. But those are the plays, man. As good as he's been in the fourth quarter, he'd like to have that throw back.
Would he ever? Now back to a 2-touchdown margin.
What? Run.
Plenty of time as he goes underneath to Van Ness.
Look, he's still got a lot of time here. He's going to get in the 2 minutes. Hurry up offense a little bit, but, you know, he's got plenty of time. He just needs to go down and score, or enough time, I should say, to go down and score. He just needs to find a big strike in this 2-minute offense.
At number 20 there, Prince Amukamara, his first pick six of his career. He had one interception in his previous 41 games. Hadn't had a pick since leaving the Giants 3 years ago. Mike Davis has nowhere to go. The ball came out at the end there as the crowd reacts.
Forward progress will stop.
Down.
Forward progress will stop. Third down.
Think about that for Amukamara. Had one interception in his previous 41 games, and he picks the right time to get after it. Fourth quarter, critical moment, and Amukamara takes it back 49 yards for the pick six. Third down and 1.
Now they got to get on the ball and get in a hurry up. They got the first. They got to get on the ball and hurry up offense.
That's Mike Davis, fourth-year player out of South Carolina, in at running back now with Russell Wilson in the backfield. Reminder, Sports Center is coming up next. SVP has a loaded show.
If you're Chicago, you're just going to play soft zone, keep everything in front of you.
Wilson looking over his options, and then he will tuck and just get beyond Roquan Smith, the number 8 overall pick in this year's NFL draft.
You know, and this is danger time for the Seattle offensive line because you can't give as much help right now. So Mack, Goldman, Hicks, these guys are going to get true one-on-one battles up front. If you're Seattle, you pay these guys up front. Now it's time for them to block one-on-one.
Khalil Mack, he looks exhausted there. He was going full throttle all night long. Interesting, they had 5 sacks in the first half, but not a sack of Wilson here in the second half. 2nd and 6. Ball's out! That was Trevathan who crashed down, and the Bears recover it.
The awareness there. Russell's got to have his eyes up. This happened last week with Von Miller. He's running to his left. He's got to keep his shoulders downfield. He's got to see it. Trevathan with the big sack. You're going to see him here. That chip on the outside forces him to come up in the rush. He's got to see that. I know he wants to strike downfield, but he's got to have the peripheral to get it. Trevathan just gets him so right there on the right side. And Leonard Floyd, the young fella, finding a way to be around the ball.
Danny Trevathan with the forced fumble. Leonard Floyd with the recovery. And the Bears sitting on a big night that they can close out here with under 4.5 to play.
Should be Jordan Howard time now, guys.
Should be, Boog.
You got to lead. Let's just pound them, wear them down.
And that's exactly what they will commit to. Matt Nagy, the play caller and head coach. His home debut for the 40-year-old who was under the tutelage of Andy Reid for so many years. Tough one to take for Russell Wilson, who had his team in position through the pick 6 moments ago, and then the turnover with the fumble right there.
It's so hard to have that. I mean, Russell has all the intangibles, the leader of this franchise, playmaking ability. Those turnovers, they're costly, you know, and it's a fine line because when he creates these plays, we're high-fiving and celebrating, and they don't work out. You don't want to talk negative about it. It's just, it's hard to win when you have this type of system of offense Seattle has, strictly on the playmaking of the quarterback.
Frank Clark with the tackle for loss.
Well, it's also hard to win from Russell Wilson's standpoint when you feel like you're alone. The talent level in Seattle offensively and defensively isn't where it used to be. So Russell Wilson comes on the field realizing he has to hold the ball with. He has to try to do it all. I don't think he wants to sit there and get hit and turn it over, but he's the one playmaker for this team, and he realizes it's his job. So it's tough when you don't have a lot of guys to help you.
You know, Doug Baldwin, Jimmy Graham's over in Green Bay. You just don't have the weapons that he used to have.
Yep.
3rd and 12 as we are under 3 minutes to go here. The screen to Howard. As Seattle stays with him that time. He only goes for 5 as Clark and Rasheem Green get to him. Remember 0-2, what I mentioned earlier. Since 2007, we have had 92 teams start a season 0-2. Only 10 of those 92 have gone on to make the playoffs. Last year, the Saints were 0-2. A few years ago, 2015, the Seahawks were 0-2 and made the playoffs. But to be in that hole, and Seattle is going to have Dallas next week, and this Bears team will be at Arizona.
That stat says a lot about the 0-2 records, but you see Pete Carroll, the energy, he knows the formula. And this team's beat up, we're right, it's a different team. There's a little bit of a rebuild happening in Seattle, whether they want to admit it or not. But Pete Carroll has the formula. He's drafted well, he's signed key free agents, and he'll stay positive. To win the day, the competition mindset that he has, and they'll bounce back. But it's going to be a rebuild. It's a different personnel on this football team.
And Bears defense has come up with big plays here in the 4th quarter. Special teams trying to get a big play here. Let's clean this thing up.
I think that may be a safety.
It may be. No, instead they're going to mark it just inside the 1.
Yeah, once the
That's actually a good play by Lockett because that ball now.
Kwiatkowski made a great play there.
Yeah, but
Yeah, once the kicking team touches it, then the receiving team, they can get it. And even if they fumble
it doesn't matter.
Exactly, it doesn't matter at that point. So actually a smart play there by Lockett.
Lockett knew it was to his advantage to see what he could come up with, but we'll see how this crew with Walt Coleman heading it up cleans it up.
The receiving team recovered the ball at the 1 yard line, and this momentum carried him into the end zone by rule. He gets the ball at the 1 yard line, first down.
Jeff Triplett, our rules expert, they got that right, Jeff, right?
Yes, they got that right. You were right when you said, Tess, that he touched the ball, the kicking team touched the ball inside the 1, but the receiving team player then caught the ball, and his momentum carried him into the end zone, so they put it on the 1 yard line. So the crew got this exactly right.
And that is where Seattle will take over.
Lockett was trying to steal one there. Maybe he could scoop that up and take off with it.
Russ goes to C.J. Procise. Spins his way to the 9 yard line.
You know, one thing we haven't talked a lot about tonight is Vic Fangio.
Yep.
And the job he's done as defensive coordinator. Matt Nagy said that was important to him, that he wanted to keep Vic here. Really respected the job he did.
Here's a promising rookie in Will Dissly, who had a big play last week at Denver. Former defensive end at Washington, but Coach Chris Peterson said, you know, you should catch the ball a little bit. Now he's a promising NFL tight end. As this will take us to the 2-minute warning. Fourth quarter with Prince Amukamara pick 6, the spotlight moment. Bears defense with 2 huge turnovers in this fourth quarter. Khalil Mack wearing our mic. Here's your Mack reacts.
Another one!
It's been great to be able to listen to him with the Monday Night Mike all night long. Next week we will be in Tampa, and we will see who wears the mic next week, as that team has so much juice right now. Coming off the win against the Eagles after what they did down in New Orleans, and now they get the Steelers.
It's magic.
I'd like to see you wear that outfit someday, Whit. Post-game fashion by Fitzpatrick. 2nd and 4. Mack chasing Wilson, and he gets it complete with Lockett making a good effort for 11 yards.
This is the thing about this, is where we're at in the game. Russell's going to continue to fight. I mean, look who was chasing him. Khalil Mack. I mean, the success this guy's had in his first 2 weeks, he's a game changer. He literally can change the game and wreck it.
Flips it ahead to Procise, who was hit hard that time by Roquan Smith.
You know, guys, you talk about Khalil Mack. I remember being in Tampa when Simeon Rice came. He forces everyone else to pick their level up. Sapp, Brooks, everybody had to pick their level up. Looks like Khalil Mack's doing the same here in Chicago.
As Russell will take a knee and get the first down. Coming up on the 1-minute mark. Seattle without any timeouts, trailing by 2 touchdowns. Dallas is at Seattle next week. That is the Seahawks home opener, so they got the scheduling quirk with opening up on the road for the first 2 weeks. A Seattle loss tonight, and the NFC West, you got the Rams on top at 2-0, and with that roster that we saw that is absolutely loaded. You know what they did yesterday. Seattle would go to 0-2 here. Cardinals are 0-2. San Francisco grabbed a win yesterday. Wilson complete inside the 10 to Brown. 19-yard reception.
And for Seattle, it doesn't get any easier for Jermaine Ifedi. DeMarcus Lawrence is coming out there on the same side. So tough stretch. And Russell's going to have his same mindset, create these plays.
First and goal. Slant inside the 5 to Jerron Brown.
Better believe Vic Fangio wants to hold him here. He's the ultimate competitor.
By the way, the Seahawks have been 0-2 only once before in the Russell Wilson era. That was 2015. We mentioned that earlier. In terms of your ability to make the playoffs or not make the playoffs. Dig out of that hole. They've been faced with that before. Third and goal. Touchdown, Will Dissly. 14 seconds remain.
Nice catch by the rookie. A touchdown at the end of the game. I saw Brandon Marshall walk up to him there. He's like, hey, I know it's your first one, but probably stay away from the spike there. You just lost the game. Good job on the drag route. Looked like Roquan Smith, but at the very end, Brandon Marshall's like, hey, bigger than, I know it's a lot of motion with it being his first one and all, but no need to spike that there.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by IBM. Put smart to work. Some of the Chicago Blues, that steady beat of choice tonight, though, has been the Bears defense. Beaten down on Seattle's offense, with the exception of that potential garbage time drive, if they can put away these final 14 seconds. And Michael Dixon is going to come out here as the kicker to attempt the onside kick. And I'll tell you why that may be the case. Sebastian Janikowski in his career has never pulled off a successful onside kick in the fourth quarter of a game. So Dixon, the rookie, is out there instead of the 19-year veteran Janikowski. He drop-kicked a kickoff earlier, and I think he's going to attempt to do a drop-kick onside kick based on how he's holding the ball, and there's no tee out there.
Janikowski's played a lot of football, but to never get an onside kick in the fourth quarter, how does that happen? He's one of the best kickers ever, Joe.
Well, I mean, think about how long Janikowski's been in the league for that stat to exist, that he's never pulled off a successful onside kick in the fourth quarter. Janikowski and Tom Brady are the only active NFL players who were drafted in 2000. There's no current NFL player selected in an NFL draft that took place before the year 2000.
That just means they're old, Joe. That's all that means.
Well,
that means we're old, Boog, is what that means. When we can come up with these stats and reference it, we're old, Boog.
And completely different. Janikowski, I told you what he's weighing in out with that uniform, and then
about
Tom
300.
Brady. Tom Brady's on the TB12 menu, going, staying healthy, and just crushing Father Time. Complete opposites.
Here we go with Dixon again. Watch for a drop kick here that he's going to try to place. The Australian native who has every single club in the bag. There's a drop kick, onside kick, and the knuckler is put into the hands securely of Anthony Miller to seal this game. Chicago's going to be at Arizona next week. Seahawks are going to get your old team with the Cowboys, who took care of the Giants last night.
Had a big win. We started out early. Dak Prescott to be able to go back home Sunday night and have a chance to win that game against a tough opponent in the Giants. They're just always battles, regardless. I know the Giants are down a little bit this year, but big win for the Cowboys last night.
You know, first-year coaches have been struggling this year. Nagy's just the third first-year coach to get a win this season. They're a combined 3-11 now. This has got to feel good for the Bears' new man, Matt Nagy. 24-17. Trubisky with a couple of touchdown passes. That defense was dominant in the first half with that guy, the new addition, Khalil Mack. Next week, we're going to be in Tampa. 2-0 Buccaneers and Red Hot Fitzmagic. Ryan Fitzpatrick hosts the Steelers. Stay tuned for the GMC post-game report on SportsCenter. For Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters, and the entire Monday Night crew, I'm Joe Tessitore. Enjoy the rest of your night, including SVP and SportsCenter.